Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Planescape Torment. Alright, we've got two more party members to talk to, and before we do that, let's go ahead and do the clicking.
Ready. I'm here. Aye, what? What you be wanting now?
I don't remember if I did Anna's clicking.
Aye? Ready. Get your eyes off my arse. You like my wee tail? I'll wag it at you. Cut it out, I'm not deaf. Well, I'm not that sort of girl. Aye?
Ah, fun times. Alright, Fall from Grace.
Yes? How may I help? I'm listening. I'm here. Yes? What? Yes? How may I help? I'm listening. Try to arise over the merely carnal and see the universe for more than it is. I'm trying to concentrate here. Please, sir, watch yourself. Simple mind, simple pleasures. Yes?
Well, I can't help it. I can't help liking Simple Minds. They're a good band.
Ignis hears you. Burn. What do you wish of Ignis? What is thy bidding? Ignis wishes to burn. The flames await. Ignis hears you. Burn. What do you wish of Ignis?
Did I already get through his stuff? Or?
Where fire once fed, I may send it to feed again.
Okay, no, I didn't.
You are all tallow for my flames. I shall bless the plains with my touch. The flames hunger for the blistering of flesh. Ignis hears you.
Alright, yeah, you are not the least bit creepy. Nope, not at all. Not at all. Alright, does have a really impressive constitution. Of course, being a mage means that even with 20 constitution, he's still only getting plus 2 hit points. He's actually really close to getting up to level 8 anyway, so I might do that anyway. Does everyone? No? Okay. I'm just very close in experience. Interesting. Anyway. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to Fall from Grace.
Yes?
Can you tell me about the Tanari? How did you come by the name Fall from Grace? Can you tell me what you know about the Sensates? I want to talk about our companions. Do you ever use weapons? I had some questions about our travels. Never mind, let's move on. Can you tell me about the Tanari?
The Tanari are fiends. Some call them demons. They have embraced evil for chaos' sake. They dwell upon the poisoned plains of the abyss, where they feed on their own rage and lash out across the multiverse, despoiling all they touch. They forever seek to tempt others into committing crimes of passion and vice.
And you are a Tanari?
That is correct. I am a lesser Tanari, more specifically a succubus.
She gives a soft sigh.
I'm afraid we're a little too common in the lower planes and elsewhere for our own good. Most of my race spend their time seducing mortals with various pleasures of the flesh.
And you?
I'd like to think that I have distanced myself from that. It is ultimately a trivial and non-productive way for one to spend one's time here in the multiverse. There is much more to life, wouldn't you agree?
Perhaps so. Can I ask you some
Yes.
other questions? How did you come by the name Fall from Grace?
The meaning of the name is a complicated subject. There is much to be said, and a great deal that is better left unsaid.
Is Fall from Grace your real name?
Perhaps.
She smiles slightly.
Perhaps not. There are names which are given and names which are earned. Who is to say which is the real one?
I think the name which is earned carries the greater weight. I think the name which is given carries the greater weight. I'm not sure I attach any value to a name. To a certain extent, given names in that, I mean, it depends on how it's given. calling a ruler the Butcher. See, would that be earned or given? I'll go with earned. Carries a greater weight.
That may be so. Why do you think that?
Because a name that is earned is not arbitrary. A name that is earned tells of what you've accomplished.
Grace nods. Your point is well taken.
So why are you called Fall from Grace?
Would it matter? She smiles. It is an earned name.
Matters to me. I would like to know why you came to how you came to be called that.
I have fallen from my people. Some would say risen from my people, perhaps, but fall feels more right to me.
She looks at you questioningly.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. After all, fall carries with it an underlying sense of loss. Fall from Grace is silent for a moment, then nods thoughtfully.
Yes, perhaps that is why it felt as it did. I came to terms with the loss long ago, but that name has remained.
Are you sure you've come to terms with it? 1,000 experience points. Nice. I love getting experience points out of my companions. Fall from Grace meets your gaze, and you are once again struck by the brilliant shade of blue of her eyes. It is turbulent, like the ocean before a storm.
I had thought so, yet in speaking to you, you've caused me to realize some things. She smiles. You have my thanks.
Well, if you want to talk about it, let me know, all right?
She nods. You are most kind. I will do so.
All right, let's
Yes.
ask you some other questions. Can you tell me what you know about the Sensates?
The Sensates are the faction of Sigil that are devoted to experience. Without experience, without sensation, we are blinded to much of the multiverse. Thus, Sensates seek to experience as much as possible. When all is experienced, then the truth of the multiverse shall reveal itself.
Interesting philosophy. Could I join the Sensates? She smiles.
To join the Sensates, one needs only be a student of life.
Alright, I'm not actually interested in joining the faction. I like being unaligned.
Yes?
I wanted to talk about our companions. Do you ever use weapons? I want to ask about that.
No, there is seldom the need, and I find I cannot bear the touch of cold iron or even steel for long periods of time. In any event, I have a number of natural defenses that tend to discourage attackers.
Such as?
Updated my journal.
The kiss of a succubus is lethal to mortals, though they rarely realize the danger until their death is almost upon them.
Fall from Grace sighs.
I can resort to it when the need arises.
I see. I had some other questions. Intriguing. I mean, frightening. Can you tell me what you know of Ravligan? Let's not actually do that. Why did you set up the brothel?
I established the brothel to give those lustful fevers that strike the mind more avenues of expression rather than the simply carnal. Much pleasure can be had in conversation and engaging in the verbal arts with others.
Why did you establish such a place?
Part of the answer to your question requires that you know that I'm a member of the Society of Sensate.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I've talked about that. Yeah, and I did check. It is supposed to be Slake, not Slate. If you're from the Abyss, how did you end up in Sigil? I'm pretty sure I asked about that. I can still hear it. Alright. Can I read your diary?
No.
Please? Grace gives a slight smile.
A lady must have her secrets.
Very well then. I had some other questions. That was fun. Let's see. I'd like to hear about your past again. Vrishka doesn't seem to care for you much.
No, she does not. I do not blame her.
What was that she was saying about you being a Beta Zoo camp follower? Let's skip that for the moment. Why not?
Vrishka is a Tanari, a fiend like I, but of a different sort, an Alu fiend. To understand Vrishka, you must understand that Tanari culture is chaos, and chaos by nature cares nothing for fairness or justice. Alu fiends are viewed as being extraneous, without purpose. In many ways, it is worse than a death sentence.
So for those wondering, an Alu Fiend is actually a half Tanari. It is the child of a Tanari and immortal. Tieflings are not half fiends, they are descended from fiends. So basically an Alu Fiend and a human would probably produce a Tiefling, essentially. What was that she said about you being a Beta Zoo camp follower?
Surely you remember what I told you about my past.
Well, I was more curious about the camp follower part Vrishka mentioned. What did she mean by that? Fall from Grace takes on a curious expression. She seems to be studying you for a moment, trying to read your features. After a moment, she speaks, and her voice is quieter than normal.
Does it matter?
To me, yes. I'd like to know who I am traveling with.
In answer to your question, I will tell you this. The Beta Zoo are not human. Their lusts lie in power, not for the flesh. And they care nothing for raping or rutting as humans do when they hold another human prisoner. The torments of the Beta Zoo are far more subtle and far more damaging than any violation of the flesh, and the scars last far longer. Is that what you wish to know?
Yes, I just wanted to know who I was traveling with.
I thought you knew already.
Fall from Grace inclines her head slightly.
I was mistaken.
Let's ask you some other questions.
Yes.
Looks like we've mostly done those. I want to talk about our companions.
Who in particular did you wish to discuss?
Me, actually.
What did you wish to discuss?
To be honest, I'm curious as to your feelings about me. I'd like to know your thoughts on my situation. Do you have any idea who or what I might be? Go with that one. Grace frowns in thought.
I freely admit that you are something of an enigma, she smiles, but I find such mysteries intriguing. Shall we attempt to puzzle out your situation?
Sure.
First, while it is possible that you are a tiefling of some rare crossbreed, my guess is that you are human, or were at one time.
Maybe something else that would shed light on my situation? Let's go with that.
Do you know anything else that might prove helpful?
Well, shadows keep coming to kill me. I have a feeling they're following me, but I don't know why. I don't know about that. Have they? I have not encountered any shadows yet. Well, I think there's someone out to murder me. So much so I built a tomb trap to try and kill him. According to an inscription in the tomb, he's been coming after me for, well, as long as my incarnations can remember, it seems.
Then whoever the killer is, he's lived a very long time to have pursued you so long.
She taps her chin for a moment.
Could the killer be immortal as well?
Possibly. I'd like to know any other thoughts you have on my situation.
Do you know anything else that might prove helpful?
Well, since this is an option...
Shadows?
Fall from Grace is silent for a moment.
Shadows are shades of the dead. They do not tend to hunt. They tend to lie in wait for victims. Curious.
I'd like to know any other thoughts you have.
Yes.
Alright, well, there was another option. Yes. Alright, go on.
Your appearance is approximately a male in his early 30s. The stitching scar tissue makes an exact determination difficult.
Tell me about it. Go on.
The key to your past is your memory, and it seems that certain locations, events, and people trigger seemingly forgotten memories. It would seem to be in your best interest to visit as many locations as possible and speak to as many others as possible. In short, be an adventure game character. In short, experience your universe as much as possible.
A sensate's advice, eh? Fall from Grace gives a bemused smile.
I would not advise it if I did not practice it, and if you did not already know it to be true.
I don't want to talk about someone else. Mort.
Mort is most peculiar. I have seen a great deal in my life, but nothing quite like him. He behaves somewhat like a Mimir. Granted, there's no denying he is knowledgeable, but he has a certain
She sniffs the air and wrinkles her nose.
Batorians smell about him.
Batorian smell?
Yes, but he's not a Beta Zoo. At least not any variety I've encountered. The smell alone, however, makes me treat the skull with caution.
What do you mean when you say Beta Zoo and Batorian?
My apologies. Bator is one of the Outer Planes, the home of a race of fiends called the Beta Zoo. They are evil creatures, yet they are organized and lawful in many of their behaviors. Some might call them devils. They believe in contracts and hierarchy. In many ways, they are like evil bureaucrats.
What were you saying about a Batorian smell? And what were you saying about a Mimir before?
Mimirs are encyclopedias of knowledge. The owner may ask them questions, and if they possess the knowledge, they will inform the user of what it knows.
And Mort is a Mimir?
I don't believe so. Mort lacks the silvery metal that Mimirs customarily have, and he seems to have an attitude of his own. Such qualities are not present in conventional Mimirs.
Grace shrugs slightly.
He may be one, but he's unlike any I have encountered.
Mort told me he is a Mimir.
Did he? Most curious. Very well, then.
I don't think I believe him.
Perhaps there is some test to verify his authenticity, but I would not do one if you value him as a friend. If you do, then you must accept what he has told you.
I see. I want to talk about someone else. Let's skip Anna for the moment. Dekon.
Dekon?
Grace raises an eyebrow.
He's most uncommon for a Githzerai.
Oh, really? In what way?
Well, he obeys you. That alone would mark him as a pariah among his people. His entire race were once slaves, and even the reminder of servitude to them is distasteful.
Oh, I don't think of it that way. I mean, it's I see it more as me giving advice and recommendations, and he decides whether or not to follow them. We're friends on a trip. That's how I would, certainly how I would tell any Githzerai about it. Anything else?
Dekon approaches everything in an orderly fashion. Again, most curious for a Githzerai. They tend to be unpredictable. They follow their impulses rather than plan.
Anything else?
He seems a most pious Githzerai and a steadfast ally.
And well, I guess that could be true. Githzerai don't worship deities. They can't be priests or clerics. That he is. I wanted to talk about someone else. Ignis.
You would be wise to travel with him no longer. He is insane, and he has proven capable of great acts of destruction. As I understand it, he was transformed into a conduit to the elemental plane of fire. Such a transformation would have killed many mortals. Not only did he survive such a trial, but he thrived. He possesses tremendous power. Should he be forced into a confrontation, I would fear that for the chances of anyone who stood against him. I pray it does not come to that.
If Ignis is so powerful, why doesn't he just attack everything he sees? Why does he even travel with us?
I do not know, but I do not think it is because he likes our company. In fact, I think he considers all of us irrelevant except for you.
Me? Why me? You know, I mean, other than being the protagonist.
Again, I do not know. Still, haven't you noticed that when you ask him to do something, he obeys, without question? Were I to make the same request, the last thing I would receive would be his compliance.
I wanted to talk about someone else. You.
Me? Really?
She thinks about this for a moment, then nods.
Very well, if there's anything you are curious about, please ask.
Alright, we'll get to those later. Let's talk about Anna.
She's strong and capable, and she's quite passionate. I almost wish I had met her long ago and asked her to come to the brothel. Perhaps things might have been different.
Grace studies you for a moment.
What do you think of her?
I think she doesn't care for you very much. Well, I think I could fall in love with her. I consider her a friend, nothing more. I don't really care about her one way or the other. I hate her. I don't trust her. She has her uses, nothing more. Wow. Let's start with the definite truth. I think she doesn't care care for you very much.
I would agree, Grace smiles. I shall not let you dodge my question so easily. What do you think of her?
Let's see let's see where this leads. Well, I think I could fall in love with her.
You might wish to tell her so.
I don't know. I seem to leave this wreckage wherever I go. With Dayanara especially, and with the lives of others I've touched, it might be best to leave well enough alone.
To that I would say this. Love may move the planes themselves when it is strong and true, and there is nothing truer in all of my experiences than the truth about how one feels about another.
Perhaps so. Wanted to talk about someone else? Alright, let's go talk about you then. To be honest, I'm curious about your feelings about me.
Grace gives a slight smile. A lady must have her secrets.
I'd like to know about your thoughts on my situation. I think we might have talked about that. Yeah.
Yes?
Let's see. I had some question about our travels. I don't think I talked about that one. Or did I? Yeah, nope, never mind. Let's move on. And Ignis, let's talk to you.
Yes.
Flames curl about Ignis's throat, and a tongue of flame streams from behind his blackened teeth. Yes. Ignis, what happened to make you this way? This way. A small pocket of flesh on Ignis's cheek pops and runs in a steaming trickle down his jaw. This way. Ignis always was. But you look human, or at least you look like you were human once. Ignis twists, hunching his head forward as his body spins slowly above the ground. The effect is much like a fiery whirlwind, thermals streaming off of his body and distorting the air around him. Still Ignis, always Ignis. I see, well that's enough. Get completely cut off there, huh? As you open your mouth to speak, Ignis suddenly whirls on you. You are forced to choke back your words as the heat from his frame floods over you. Ignis, might you be sparks in bodies, always seeking to rise. Sparks in bodies? What do you mean? All things burn inside. Ignis's head cranes back and throws his his arms wide. Spirals of flame and heat traveling up his arms. Only need to be kindled with flames to become Ignis. So might you have been Ignis. Actually, if you end up trying to kindle the flames within people, you usually end up killing them. So you're saying everyone has the potential to become like you with the right spark. I wonder if he's actually possessed by, like, a fire element or something like that. Actually, if you end up trying to kindle the flames within people, you usually end up killing them. Yes. Ignis grins, cocking his head to one side, ashes falling from his skull and being swept up by the flaming wreath that surrounds him. I had some other questions for you. Hiss. Your heart jumps as Ignis soars several feet into the air, and his jaw tears open, fiery trails spilling forth like a nest of snakes. No more talk and questions. Silence! You will answer my questions, Ignis. I set you free, and I may send you back to your hell again. Sure. Think you could chain Ignis? The flames around Ignis swirl like a cloak, then fan outwards as if seeking to caress you. Kill you, turn you to ashes. Ignis can. For now, Ignis follows. But threats anger Ignis. Actually, Ignis, you couldn't stop me. You could burn me, but I'd keep coming at you until you were kindling. So enough with the threats. There's a crackling in the air, and Ignis cocks his head slightly, as if studying you, then hisses. Flames will burn the immortality from you. You are not safe from my flames. How did you know I was immortal?
You are not immortal. Ignis can kill you. Scatter your ashes to the winds.
You watch as he flings his arms wide, and a heat pours from him, so powerful that you are forced to shield your eyes. There's a great roaring as the air flees past you being drawn into Ignis. Uh-oh. Ignis, stop the... As you try to shout at Ignis to stop, the tide of heat turns back upon itself, and a blazing heat washes over you. You feel your flesh begin to smolder, then smoke, and then beginnings of pain. You clench your teeth, and over the pain, you can hear Ignis cackling. Cackling laughter. Ignis!
Updated my journal.
As you shout his name again, the heat dies. As you draw your arms back from your face, you see that your skin is blackened from where Ignis burned it, and Ignis is watching you hungrily. You know, more than anything, that whatever Ignis is, whatever power that has embraced him, it has the power to destroy you. If his flames were to kill you, there would be nothing left of your body. I've had enough of you, Ignis. Perhaps you can kill me, perhaps not. I'm willing to put it to the test. No, let's... Quick save?
Yes.
Alright, let's see if I can get back there. See if that'll kill me. Ignis howls, a horrible screaming roar, and a fiery radiance suddenly surrounds him, and his eyes are like windows to some other place. He raises his hands, flames crackling along the edges, growing to become great flaming whips. You shall burn! Ignis, you asked for this. Oh yeah, okay. So he leaves the party, and we will have to fight him. Well, let's see if we can beat him. Yes, we can.
All right.
So, Ignis, not so tough now, are you? I'm gonna load that back up though. Let's see. That is this one. I guess it's this one. No. This one. Yeah, it took me 2 days to move all my stuff here. Alright, let's talk to you again. What are you doing in the Smoldering Corpse bar? For a moment, you don't think Ignis has heard you. Then suddenly, the fires in his eyes dim slightly, and he gives a soft hiss, cinders and ash dancing at the edges of his jaw. Ignis once knew nothing of flames. Yes? Once Ignis knew nothing of flames. He set small fires, tiny flames, tiny flickerings, small bits of flame. Ignis hisses again, ashes and fiery motes drifting from the ruin of his mouth. The fires grew. Ignis set fires in their streets and lit the fires of anger in their hearts. Yes? You speak, but Ignis doesn't seem to hear you. He seems to be somewhere else, as if reliving a memory through his words. Against your will, you stop and listen. They sought to punish Ignis, the small flies from the hive. They wished to see Ignis burn after Ignis set fire to their streets. Tiny magelings, hedge wizards, rune casters. Tiny sparks of magic came to punish Ignis for hurting their loved ones. They sentenced Ignis to burn, made Ignis a torch, a spitting flame, burning. It was justice, they said. Justice. You watch, mesmerized, as Ignis begins slowly turning again, as he did above the grill in the Smoldering Corpse. But it was not a sentence. There is so much flames and pain that there is no pain. There is light and heat, and the flesh runs as tallow across my bones. And for the first time, Ignis is pleased. Ignis stops his rotation, and his gaze falls upon you. As it does, the fires in his eyes flare, and a charred grin splits his features, the flesh crackling and bubbling as it melts the screams across his face. Ignis wears the face of all hells, of flames, and his next words are spoken like a death sentence, not only for you, but for everyone, everywhere. When the plains burn and all life is torches, then Ignis shall at last be at peace. I see, you had some other questions. You would like Cert, wouldn't you? We should talk of flames, Ignis, and of burning. Oh, 150 experience, 1500 experience. Your words are like oil, and you watch them fill Ignis's eyes, fanning the flames you see there. Flames? Ignis drifts down slightly, the heat around him rising, as if in interest. Speak, Ignis will listen. What happened to make you this way? Nope, that just goes back. Alright. I wish to speak more of burn. Let's see. I have no further questions. Let your dreams be filled with flames, Ignis. No, speak, Ignis howls, and the air around you twists again from the sheer amount of heat. Speak of flames, speak of the burning. Very well, I had these questions about flames. No, Ignis, we'll speak some other time, not now. Ignis, have you ever felt a building aflame, the flames licking the edges of the timbers, blackening the wood beneath, watching the heat peel the paint from the walls, thatch crackling, the smell of burning straw? As you speak, the crackling of the flames around Ignis's frame ebbs, as if the flames themselves are listening to your words. When you finish, Ignis hisses softly, and the flames in his eyes have dimmed, as if he is lost into memory. Yes. We'll speak later, Ignis. Stay calm in the meantime.
Knowing the teachings of Zerthamon, I have become stronger.
Oh, hey.
And enduring grows strong.
Alright, Dakon, you get to level up. -5? Spell memorization abilities have increased. 2 hit points gained. 1 hit point gained from con. Alright. Alright, well, I need to get you some more spells, that's for sure. What level are you now? Yeah, 7th level mage. I definitely do need to get you some more spells. Alright, you're also 7th level mage. You do have various spells. Alright, have I missed any special powers from anyone else? You just have those.
Ignis hears you.
You don't have any special powers. Kiss and sensory touch. Permanent. One creature, not undead. With a touch, you can bring another's pain into you, helping them at the cost of your own health. This spell can only be used at touch range upon a living creature. Magic resistance does not affect it. It heals 1 to 10 hit points of damage on a target, but the caster suffers the same amount of damage. Interesting. And this ability drains 1 to 10 hit points from a target and grants them to Grace. Creatures immune to normal weapons are still vulnerable to Grace's Kiss. Oh, so that's what I need to use to have her actually, like, deal damage. Or, you know, spells like Spiritual Hammer. Alright, well, it is about time to end the episode, now that we have explored our conversation options. So I want to get up that 1 level to 9th level fighter, and then I will switch to mage, because that'll be the most hit points I can get, number 1. Number 2, I'm not going to have as many attacks, but I would still, I still think that's a good plan going forward. In addition, I have heard that the Constitution increasing tiers in the shop, Vrishka's shop, appears to be a bug. So I'm totally going to go buy some of those. Some more of those. There should only have been one. All about taking advantage of the bugs. See you next time, everyone.